I haven't warmed up much at all. I came out earlier today to do some sods press, actual like classic sods press from the front. Did a little bit. Dogs started barking at stuff, so I just let them in, and I didn't want to do too much because I'm going to do more of that right now. So I'm going to use this as my warm up. I currently have the plates out there, but I do have my weightlifting shoes on. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do them with just the shoes on or do them with the heel elevated. I'm kind of feeling like I want to do it with the heel elevated with the shoes on just to make it feel as easy as possible. I've been really liking that. The only reason I was using the plates before is I came out in just normal shoes, so I didn't have any heel elevation, and just how lanky and tall I am relatively makes it difficult to just come out cold with that positioning, and with how tight my left shoulder is, really just my shoulders in general, because that's just a shoulder thing for me. It's easier with the plates on for sure, and so I think with the weighted shoes on and the plates, I should be really good to do, just get a good warm up in. But I think the sots press and the snatch sots press will be good just to get more mobility work in and to have it be specific to what I need to do in weightlifting. So not to, just do the motion of the snatch and just, squats or whatever, but to really kind of almost stretch. And it's almost like a dynamic stretch because you're not really like necessarily holding positions because you're like constantly flexed. So I'm gonna get these squat racks out of the way. Oh, yeah, I guess the plan, I can talk about that too before I start getting warmed up. But we'll move these squat racks out because my notebook's over there. So I'll at least record the warm up and the snatches, assuming that my phone doesn't overheat. If it starts to have heating problems, then I'll stop recording from them. But the goal is to do waves, so I want to get up to potentially 110, but waves, the first wave to 100, then drop down to 85, 95, 105, drop down to 90, 100, 110, and maybe stop there, maybe go up, and then clean and jerks. The first wave up to 125, drop back down to 120, up to 135, drop back down to 125 to 140, and then stop there, maybe go up, kind of depends on how I'm feeling. And then snatch pulls, I'm actually going to do waves with that, but they're going to just be pretty normal. Like, it's just pulls. So first wave goes up to 120 for a triple, then down to 110 and back, wave back up by 10 kilo increments to 130, down to 120, then up 10 kilo increments to 140. So just triples with all of the pulls, and then probably more SOT stuff after. I think that's kind of going to be a key to improving my shoulder mobility. I think it's something that I haven't necessarily neglected, but it's something that I need to do a ton more because I think that's out of all of the areas that I'm pretty mobile at, like my ankles and hips and back, like a lot of the areas of my body are very mobile, but my upper body, particularly my shoulders, both my shoulders are generally immobile, especially in relation to other parts. Like when I started weightlifting, I could get into an overhead squat perfectly fine. So like I always had enough mobility, and particularly my ankles and hips and stuff have been really mobile. Thankfully, in high school and stuff, I spent a ton of time stretching because I thought it would help me with baseball, and I think in some sense it did. In other senses, it just made me more generally mobile, which is not bad at all to have. But I'm gonna set the camera out. But yeah, so we're gonna do some SOTS presses and some classic SOTS presses with a clean grip, and then some snatch ones, and then some waves. Assuming everything kind of feels good, and my left knee is kind of tight right now, so trying to make sure that gets loosened up. But that's kind of another nice thing with the SOTS press and the snatch SOTS press is that things start to, it just is, you're sitting in a squat, so we kind of get everything warmed up. So I think it's something that I need to do it more because it's something I have a natural hesitancy towards when I'm not warm because it's not comfortable to do SOTS presses and stuff when you're just warming up. But I think it's something, like when I came out earlier, having the plates out and doing them, I was like, all right, this is something that I can really build into and not necessarily get good enough to do like a squat jerk or something like that, but just get good enough to do stuff. Hello, Arjun from India. What was I saying though? Oh, speaking of India, I just saw there was a javelin thrower that finished. They got a silver medal. But that was pretty interesting. I didn't know. You don't typically see like Indian athletes in the top of track and field stuff. Although I don't follow javelin stuff at all, so maybe that's just always the case. But I think the person who won was from Pakistan, which was also surprising. But from my understanding of geopolitical things, they have a bit of a rival between the two of them. Although I assume for track and field sports, it's probably not as the same as it is politically. I know I think it's for like cricket or something, but I don't follow cricket either at all. Yeah, I did. I saw the gold medal throw, and I really liked his mechanics because I grew up playing baseball, so throwing mechanics are interesting to me, and so seeing the javelin what is interesting from like a biomechanical standpoint, just comparing it to like a long toss throw or a pitch of some sort, and seeing the mechanics that they employ is interesting, and it's something I've actually looked at when I used to long toss a lot to see like generally like the mechanics that they use, and it's very similar to throwing a baseball. So I'm sure a lot of them, although it's different because you're holding a ball and not a javelin. So I assume that the mechanics would be different. But if I had to pick any athlete to like learn how to throw a baseball, of course you pick a javelin thrower because they have the most similar mechanics with it. But yeah, the guy who won had very like a calm finish, which was interesting. A lot of times they're like flopping onto the ground and stuff. That guy just finished and stood there like casually, and I guess had a really good throw. But that's about the extent of my javelin throwing knowledge. Is the Olympics every 4 years? Yeah, that's one of the things too. With just the size of India as a country, I think over the years, or I think in the coming decades, that they'll just continue to be more and more people from India that are just elite athletes. I think it really comes down to what sports are pushed, as I know, like probably not going to have a ton of basketball players because it's just not as far as I understand, not a giant sport in India, but like track and field sport, like just the population, any sport that's focused on will get better. Because I know I've seen more because of weightlifting, I see a bunch of just random stuff. But over the years, I've seen more and more Olympic weightlifting from India, and I kind of wish that they got big into weightlifting in the '80s when there was a lot more supplementation that would have helped. Because I think that would have made a lot of good lifters just with the amount of people that are there. Similar to how China has developed, but there's still like I know there's one lighter female that was at the Olympics, and I don't know if there's another male at this one. I feel like there might be a super heavy that's at least close to being there. I don't know if he would have qualified or not because I think India, as far as qualification goes, is in like the Asian region, but I'm not sure exactly as far as like weightlifting qualifications where they would lie for that. But I know the Mirabai, I think is her name. She went to the last one as well. Yeah, and I think a lot of that just comes down to what sports, because like Olympic weightlifting, it's only interesting or cool for people who do it, and then people who want to push that for the Olympics. But I think like track and field stuff is probably where most of the push would come from, just because there's a variety of sports that you could choose from. It's not just just the lifts, and it's really difficult to. It takes years and years of practice, and it does for all sports, but it takes like generations to get good at weightlifting. You should just look at America, like we very recently have become good at weightlifting. A lot of that you could say is from the drugs that are probably still there to a large extent, but definitely not as prevalent as they were in like the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. At least not for every single person that's doing it as much, but probably still. I don't know. You let Carlos Nassar weigh 198 pounds do what a 500-pound clean and jerk, so what 224. So I mean, clearly natural, of course, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see a lot of the, let's say necessarily like India's like a developing country, but ones that haven't historically been good at international sports, at least been like filling up everything. Like even in China, they had a sprinter in the 100-meter dash in one of the I don't know if it was the finals or not, but it was with the Noah Lyles in the 100 meters. And so like these countries without historic basis for certain sports or certain events that are going to develop more as training protocols just get better in general, just as people learn how to train better and it becomes more permissible. That's probably the best thing with social media, honestly, is people get to see all kinds of different sports. I mean, Olympic weightlifting, when I was a kid, just I didn't know anything about it. Like, it didn't exist, and now you could you can find all kinds of stuff about it and see it everywhere, even if it's not just the Olympics. I knew literally nothing growing up until really college. So I think having the generations, because like I'm never gonna be snatching 180 kilos because I don't get state sponsored supplementation, but I also started when I was 22, 23, and if I had started when I was very young and been in a different system, well, I guess even America, like West Kids got popped for a stimulant and is still able to compete at the Olympics. So I mean, apparently, if you're good enough, they'll allow you to still get popped for banned substance and still compete. But starting a lot younger and having that generation thing. So like I might not be good, but like the next generation, be better. And you see that with like Olivia Reeves, like the ones before them, Kate Nye and Maddie Rogers. Like yeah, they made the Olympics and Nye even like won a silver medal, but Olivia Reeves just leaps and bounds above what anything that they could even accomplish. And it's quite amazing to see that she dominated like all these really good countries. And it's not even just the fact that she just won at the Olympics; she's been winning everything, everything everywhere. She's just kind of insane with her level of strength, and in relation to other people who are even veterans, like the Ecuadorian and the Colombian person have been lifting for a while, but even in non-Olympic competition, she's still doing a lot of work as far as winning, which has been interesting. But I have procrastinated enough. You can tell I've taken my caffeine because I'm very loquacious, but we are going to do some sauce presses. Yeah, my mid back is really tight from that. Really sore. I'm doing a lot of those yesterday and earlier today. But I kind of think I might just stick with just doing the regular SOTS press and just have my heels elevated with them. Because I'm feeling like a really good activation in my mid and upper back, and my left shoulder is feeling better as I do them more. And then when I did that snatch press, the wider grip, I didn't have any discomfort pressing, which is normally when I have the most discomfort when I'm warming up, is that initial just press if I'm doing any sort of like wide grip press with a snatch grip. So I don't know, it felt good. I also need to figure out where to hang my American flag up. Um, I try to put it up there, but it's too big. I got too much freedom. Not enough freedom up there, but there's enough space for it. Where am I pointing? Like there, where that wood piece is. But then as it goes over, this beam that's here goes all the way straight down, and then it cuts it off. So like, I have to get into a really wonk. I should just get a ladder out here, frankly. But it's one of those catch-22s. Like I'm just too lazy to. Also need to I need to put chalk on even when I'm using the bar. My hands are so just sweaty right now. Hey, Teresa. My hands get so sweaty out here, so I always gotta have chalk on. There's about enough of those. Yeah, sometimes I go live with these, at least until my phone overheats. glad I waited a while to come out here, as it's still, or it's cooled off a lot since earlier today. I hope so. These 90+ degree days are rough. Not even just for training, just for living. Almost threw my pen under this thing. There we go. First wave done. Back down to 85. Yeah. Not the prettiest one, but it'll do. Alright. Hello, softball person. I have actual weights on the bar now. Second wave done. A little bit in front on the left shoulder, but not anything that we can't correct on the next wave. Yeah, yesterday I didn't do any weights, or I just had the bar. I was just stretching essentially. So I do most of the time. So third and final wave. I make sure that I'm trying to make my left arm move the same pace as my right. So it's fixating at the same time. It's gotta wait longer. Wasn't patient enough. It is what it is, though. So it's 90. We're gonna do 100, hopefully. Make it better, more better, make it the better wrist. Then after this one, decide if I'm gonna do 105 or 110. Ideally I do 110, but I like to make this one actually look good, not like 90. better. It was a lot better. So 110 will be the last one. We'll see. One more. That's a good one to end on. That was a good snatch. That was a good snatch session. But, so I actually didn't have any misses. Last one definitely felt the most difficult, but definitely the stretching before I think helped. My shoulder doesn't really hurt at all when I do snatching, but because it's probably tighter than my right one, in that rotation, it's a little bit slower. So then when I fail, it's a little bit forward on that side and then ends up just rolling off. So that one definitely, I mean, it was difficult, but we'll look at it on the camera. Yeah, it definitely smashed me down a little bit, but nice to make it on the first attempt. I keep missing it on the first attempts when I do it in other sessions, which is annoying. So it's good to have done all of those reps, the waves prior to that, and then have that be when I'm tired already. So it's a good sign. Good snatch. So now for clean and jerks, which means I need new thumb tape. Need plates off the bar and heavy knee wraps. That's normally when I just play chess in between exercises. Love you, Teresa. Thank you for stopping by. Please don't feel like you need to watch me train, though. I'm here just trying to lift Sisyphus' stone. Now, appreciate it. Let's see what my battery's at. 63%, we're chilling. They usually sit between exercises so I can let it sit there. But, I mean, basically it serves two purposes on your rest, because it's difficult to do multiple exercises, but I redo my wraps. Of course, this fan's blowing right in my face, which feels really nice except for the dust that gets into my eye. It's a catch-22. Lots of dust, but lots of air. But wrap up the wraps for next session, because these white ones they're lighter and allow me to do snatching, just a lot more mobility, so they're not as compressive or as hyper supportive as my sleeves or as my black knee wraps. These black ones are a different kind, and they're a denser material, so it's better for squatting and for clean and jerks. And they get very tight. That is for sure. I actually made an order from Hook Grip for not new sleeves of the heavier ones, but new ones of these, because over time, if you put them in the wash, the threads just kind of break down, so they become even looser, so they become even less supportive over time. But they're not really the end all be all for snatches. I don't need a ton of extra support to stand up a snatch just because the weights aren't as heavy. But for squats and for clean and jerks, the more support, the more bounce, the more better. But so that was actually really nice. You got all the snatch work done that I wanted to do at the weights that I wanted to do. Clean and jerks, yeah, 70, 90, 110, 125, and then wave down to 120, 135, 125, 140. So probably just try to do the same exact thing. Be a nice session just to kind of do, in theory, multiple times, with the difference after the weightlifting stuff just doing squats instead of pulls like I'm going to do today. Pulls are nice because they're easy and they don't take any thinking for me to do. And tomorrow, if I feel good, I might just do the same session and just do it with squats. It's a nice thing with weightlifting, you do it every day. Every day. Sure my phone's not gonna catch on fire. That's kind of the big thing you want to avoid. But about clean jerk time, which I'm kind of looking forward to. I don't really feel like I have tons of energy, but I feel like I got like a good amount of focus, which is oftentimes just a little bit better than having tons of energy. Tons of energy can lead you to being unfocused and being too rash. But I feel good. It's nice. It's like a good calm. It's usually how I feel if I have a good snatch workout. It's when I don't, then I get angry, and then I want to max out clean and jerks or beat myself to death with squats or something. But, it's nice when you plan a session, and at least snatching for me is always the most difficult, at least consistent. It's nice when it goes the best, or it goes to what you planned. Honestly, doing multiple weights and getting up to 110 after, at the end is always going to feel like a productive session. The key is to be able to repeat that session and to do it consistently. It's nice I also did it without straps, so if I do that session again, then I know that I'm not worried about the strap aspect of it. It's certainly hard when it's warm out here and my hands are naturally sweaty, and just dealing with that, I'm using tons and tons of chalk. I go through so much chalk, I use so much of it, but every time I do a lift, if I don't have straps on or whatever, or even if I do, all the chalk just disappears. Like you can see, like my hands were completely white, and I literally, I was doing the knee wraps, but I mean, after a lift, that's essentially what my hand looks like still, where there's very little chalk on it, and I put chalk on every inch of my hand, so it all just slides onto the bar or just sweats off my hands pretty rapidly, which is, less than ideal. I'm going to try something here. Yeah, so if I do tab out, then it disconnects for a second. It's interesting. I was hoping, my friend sent me a message on Instagram. I was hoping to check that and come back, but it looks like it would just disconnect me if I did that. So, not worth doing. That's weird. I can put filters. I don't know how to. There's too much. Oh, weird. Sorry, I was looking at some of the buttons on the live stream. So there's, I can mute myself, I can flip the camera, I can put filters on, and do a clip. I don't know how to do that. Interesting. But we'll start warming up for clean jerks. Like I said, the goal is to finish up at 140, and that'll be a good weight. Maybe do a little bit more, but 140 is a good number for clean and jerks. And then pulls. Oh, my phone disconnected for a second. Thought it overheated. All right, we should be all right. Should be all right. Yeah, those hot presses, I definitely got to keep doing those, because that's the other thing. It's like the first snatch grip press from behind the neck, just doing that with a barbell, always feels super tight, and that felt a lot better today, just warming up. And then doing like that first jerk, just holding it up behind my head, always feels a little uncomfortable, and that's like, was almost nothing. It was a significant improvement from even yesterday. From even yesterday. It's a very weird feeling doing it too, because it's like half a stretch and half a flex, because you're trying to get it up, and then like They lean forward a little bit. You're trying to get it behind your head, and the lack of mobility that I have wants it to roll forward. So not only is it like stretching it back, but I'm like flexing it. I guess it's like if you lay on your back and stretch your hamstring, and you're just bringing your foot towards your body, but you're not using your arm. It's kind of like that feeling where you're flexing the muscle that you're trying to stretch as well, which is, I mean, it felt good, so must be must be a good thing. But I think it definitely is more of a stretch than that. Plus, like my mid back was getting like a really nice pump from that between like my scaps, particularly. All right, we'll do the bar one more time. We'll do 70. No time like the present. Big problem with where I live is sometimes there's people doing things they're not supposed to be doing. I'm hearing yelling and arguing somewhere. But what else do you have to do on a Friday night? I mean, it sounds more normal than lifting weights in a shed in your backyard, I suppose, but it's still scary. But let's do 70. Yeah, it's just more evidence that SOTS presses are good. It's just, one felt so much better. Obviously, the weight's light, and that's like with a really light weight like that, I'm not worried about like straining or anything. I'm mostly just assessing how mobile I feel, how sore I am, things like that. And like even like my quad tendons felt good. Sorry, I'm listening to the people of the hood. What's up, brother? You missed snatching, but I'm doing some clean jerks now. Just 70, so I'm gonna go up to 90 here in a second. But I was just talking about how I don't feel bad. I feel pretty good. So we'll throw 90 on there. I am from, I'll let you guess. I am from this place. I haven't hung that up yet. I just have it there, just for that question. But I wanted to hang that up on that wall, but it's like I had to figure out how to get it to fit because it's a little bit too big. A little bit too much bald eagles and freedom to fit up there. end plates. Try to drive it forward on the platform so it's not always landing in the same spot. Sometimes then I hit the shelf or the squat rack or anything up there. I'm gonna guess that you are not from the USA based on your name, but I'm too blind to be able to see your profile picture. Where are you from? I'll give you a chance to tell me once I'm putting 110 on. You too, Aunt Teresa. You know, my Indian friend, you have to tell everyone in your country that does Olympic weightlifting that you don't need to have spotters on the side to catch the barbell as they're dropping it down. I see that on so many clips, and it drives me bonkers. It's such good teamwork and good coordination, but watching that happen drives me absolutely bonkers. So you're from India, so I'm gonna let you handle that. Tell people just to drop the bar on the ground. Just drop the plates. They're bumper plates. They'll live. But I got a lot of confidence because I wouldn't catch anyone snatch like that. That's for sure. I don't know how they have the belief that they can just catch the barbell. They can coordinate that. Definitely is something that terrifies me to think about trying to do. But yeah, 110. So do 110 here. Go to. Did I say 125? I did say 125. Nice. I don't feel super great for these, but that's kind of how clean jerks usually go. Feel pretty routine. It's good. So we're gonna do 125 now. Hey, I don't live in India. I can't make them do that. So you just gotta tell them what's up. But I don't know. I mean, like the only thing I've thought of like why they do that is to protect the floors and stuff. But like, just get stall mats. I don't know. But then sometimes I see them drop, like I'll see the same video of someone, like they'll catch it, they'll lift it down, then other times they'll just drop it. And like, you just gotta drop it. You just gotta commit to it. Just rebuild the floor. No need to save the floor. Just destroy the floor and rebuild it every day. There's a house at the corner of my street where there's always a bunch of the youths that are up to no good. Thankfully, I'm secluded in my backyard, and I'm sufficiently insane sounding probably to not be trifled with. I hope not. So anyway, I've always thought of like someone broke into my shed. It'd be the most disappointing thing to try to rob a bunch of heavy plates and literally like a power cord. Like this, there's just such there's such impractical things to try to take. I guess probably the power strip would be the most like practical thing for someone to take. But I mean, if they knew how much like the barbells and plates cost, they would take everything. But that also takes a long time to sell it too. Probably take my drill or take random crap that I wouldn't even notice probably. It's also gonna be nice. My roommates are, well, they're married, and they bought a house, so they're moving out. In theory, next week, or at least start moving out. So as they move stuff out, I'll be able to clean out this shed a lot, which is a lot of the space that you can't see in any video or live stream. The area above and behind, and really like have just empty space. And then obviously the house, moving all that stuff around and cleaning out. I don't know if it's normal, but I'm really looking forward to cleaning, deep cleaning my whole house and painting, and eventually doing the floors, and then getting a new couch. Like long term, there's a lot of stuff that I want to do for it, but the first step is cleaning and getting as much stuff out of the house and as much stuff uncluttered from out of the house, from out here, from just anywhere in my house and property in general, and then start to eventually kind of prepare the house for painting. But I'm not really like, now the school year's gonna be starting next week, I'm not like really worried about painting, because I do have 2 grad school classes that are going to be, or that are happening. Just started, I mean, I guess they technically start next week, but the classes opened early, so I started working on them today. But that's the main, obviously teaching is the main focus, and then the grad school stuff and training and videos and all of that. So there's a lot going on outside of just fixing the house, but probably not winter break. Honestly, the next summer, it's going to be the home improvement summer. There's a lot of stuff, painting floors, just deep cleaning, getting everything new, everything looking nice. Also have this weird urge to put shelves on all these different parts of walls in my house. Just like little, I don't even know if decorative shelves or practical shelves, but I just want to put shelves on walls. So I just want random places to set stuff. And there's not a reason, there's not anything particular I want to set on them. I just want them to exist. So I'll eventually have a bunch of the shelves just screwed into the wall of different places. But it was 125, so let's do this. So it'll be the top of my first wave, and then I'm going to go down to 120 and do 135 for the next one. But we got to do this one to make it feel manageable. Feel too bad. She felt like I got the bar behind me on the jerk pretty well. Which maybe not, it felt weird, but it felt correct. Probably because I've been pushing a lot of my jerks forward, so it just felt weird because it was in the correct spot. But that's 125, so we're gonna go down to 120, and then move from there. Now we got 120. A little bit forward on the jerk, but it's alright. Cleans are all feeling about the same. So now we'll move up to 135. See how that goes. Clean jerks are definitely more difficult without music. I'm feeling the music diff on these snatches. They're a lot more focused, so you can kind of get away with it, but I feel like I need some tunes, but it's alright. It's 135. Not the best jerk. I don't want to look at that again. Did a better clean than I thought I was going to, but jerk didn't feel the best. Yeah, just gotta get it further behind my head. So we're gonna go down to 125 and then back up hopefully to 140. start getting tired. You know, Tony, I feel like I have tried a half-field squat, but it might have just been in college. And I don't think I tried it with very much weight. It's one of those tricky movements that it's in theory, like if I had a really bad injury or something and I was trying to get back to squats, I think it's a really good exercise. But once you're like healthy and can lift normal, the load that you can get up to is insane, which is good and bad, but I don't know if it's necessarily worth the neurological strain to get good at doing them. But I think where they probably will have the most use in a program of any sort is just for volume, because you can do extremely high sets. So just getting like hypertrophy in like a squatting motion, so almost treating it like a leg press, but obviously like a more strenuous version of that. But I saw some dude doing like 700 pounds or something. I was like, it's crazy, but it's kind of like a high block deadlift where, you know, you can get to a really high weight, but I don't know how much utility that has. But doing like really high sets and reps to get like good pump work in, I think that's the route to go. Particularly because like if you're doing really high reps, you can start with less resistance with how much you're using your arms to help, and then as you get fatigued to just essentially allow more forced reps. But it kind of allows you to, you know, start, say you do it at 140 kilos, it gets more difficult and you can incrementally take down the weight as you're still doing the set, and allows you to feel heavier weights, I suppose, in that way. But gym, you know, I honestly would rather do Hatfield squats than belt squats, but our gym has a belt squat, but I can never set it up. I've tried it a couple times and I can never get it to be comfortable. The belts, and I've tried it actually in another gym as well. Belts uncomfortable. I feel like I can't squat all the way down. I don't know if it's because you're not really supposed to or whatever, but I just, like, the movement feels so uncomfortable. I'd rather do leg press than belt squats, and that's just a pure comfort thing. Like, in theory, it's a fantastic exercise, and if I could set it up properly and it be comfortable, I would do them all the time. But I'd be much more likely to do Hatfield squats than belt squats. And our gym has a really nice belt squat. Like, I know it's good. I've seen people use it. I just, like, it just doesn't feel comfortable for me to use at all. But yeah, I think if I set up like two boxes and had like a dip bar or a dip belt on, then it would probably feel better. But then it becomes like the catch-22 of, like, if it's more difficult to set up, like, am I ever actually going to want to do it? It's kind of like what's that other squat that you do? It's not a belt squat. It's not a leg press. I forget what it's called, but it's a machine. What is that? You're doing a squat, but you're like on a track like a leg press, but you're standing up. You see like Tom Platz and those guys do it a lot. I kind of get like the same feeling with those. Like, yeah, it's like I can do it, but I kind of get a similar feeling to squat. Hack squat, I've done that a couple times. I'm like, it feels the same on my legs as squats do, so I was like, I might as well do squats. Belt squats are just, I can never, and I also think it's because I squat deep, so it makes it difficult to set up the belt squat, but also, I don't know if it's like my proportions make it more difficult to set up. I don't know. I don't mess with them. It's kind of like that. So exercise. Lunges are another thing that I just never do because they hurt my knees. And it's the only thing I do, like, do or don't do, that, like, legitimately bothers my knees to do, no matter what context. Bulgarian split squats, it's not even like, they hurt. Like, no, they hurt my knees to do. And it's been since I had my knee scoped when I was like 23 or 22. No, I was like 20. Like, Bulgarian split squats have always been uncomfortable, and I don't feel my quads at all in lunges or any sort of lunging movement like that. Maybe I just do them wrong, but I only feel my glutes, and I have enough glutes. But I'm gonna do this 125 and then go up to 140 and then pulls. Then we're gonna work on glutes. I just thought about it. I don't need, but. That was more better. Some might say the betterest. The bestest for the rest of us. So it's 125, so we got one more to do. But I felt a lot better getting that behind my head. So happy with that. Now to make 140. Time for math. All right. So hopefully this one goes well. Tape's kind of sliding up my finger a little bit, but I just got one more rep and it stays on better for cleans than it does for snatching. That is for sure. Particularly my left thumb, I don't know what it is about my left hand in relation to my right. If it's something to do, it might all be downstream to my shoulder itself, but I feel like the tape always slips more on that side. And I also have a callus, or I had a blister on that side as well, which is odd, but. All right, so 140. Kids are yelling and chasing each other. That is the only thing that I always am really excited for when school starts back up and I start working again, is they also go back to school. Oh, breaking stuff. Well, I certainly pushed that one forward. Oh, But I was able to stabilize it just barely. Barely. Let's see how bad that looked. Clean felt hard, but it didn't feel that bad, but the jerk felt as bad as it probably looked. Clean looked alright. I mean, it's definitely forward. You'd be like that. I'll move you guys over here. Because now we're on the intermission of lifting. So, in a sense, a pretty perfect day to hit all the waves on snatches and clean jerks. And now pulls. Pulls are pulls. So those are going to take no thinking. No risk of missing a snatch pull. Unless I'm trying to do like 220 kilos. But that's not really a pull anymore, it's a deadlift. I'd say for me, for the snatch grip, anything above like probably 200 kilos is straight deadlift. Like 180 is kind of on that edge of a deadlift or a pull. But that's where things become murky. Because sometimes my hips rise too much and sometimes they don't. And if they do, is it a deadlift? If they don't, is it a pull? And if you get a shrug or not. I just kind of count everything that I do in shoes as a pull, whether it's snatch or clean pull or snatch or clean deadlift, and treat a pull as if I get any sort of elevation off my hips. If I don't or don't really try, then I just consider it a deadlift, a snatch grip deadlift or a clean deadlift, or snatch deadlift or a clean deadlift. Because it's just snatch grip deadlift, is of course you just have a snatch and you're doing regular deadlift, but I don't know, I was really surprised how well this session has gone. I'm happy about it. I need to have a lot more sessions like this. And the waves are nice because they put less pressure on you to get to maximal weights or to do anything crazy. It just gives you multiple opportunities to go up and down. Now with these pulls, kind of not really feeling the wave portion of them, but I kind of feel like since I have the blue on the inside, we're going to make some administrative adjustments and just start at 110 instead of 100 because I'm too lazy to switch the plates out. But and now this should be going smooth, and because the black knee wraps are a lot denser or thicker, I guess it's probably similar. I guess it doesn't matter which, they're pretty similar. But I just put on the light knee wraps for these. They don't really need any additional support. It's just nice to have the compression and the warmth. At least gives me the placebo that I'm getting extra support. But I'm excited to get my hook grip order tomorrow. So I got some shirts, new wraps that are like these, new wrist wraps. Not that I particularly needed them because these ones are fine, but it's nice to just get another pair when you're getting a big order. And then I got new knee sleeves that have the V cut, and they're a 7mm. I'm curious to see if they feel different than these, which apparently they're 9mm, and I can't find any information about 9mm knee wraps, and I have no idea why. So I don't know if the 7mm are going to feel thicker, but we'll find out. If anything, they'll just be new, which will be good. And the what else did I get? So I got knee wraps, knee sleeves, and shirts. A couple All Things Gym shirts, which were nice because I was able to get the free shipping with them, and the wrist wraps. Oh, I got training pants too. That was like the whole impetus of me wanting to do a hook grip order. I remembered all the things, but so I have 3 pairs of the hook grip style training pants. They're like the Polish weightlifting pants, and I have a long pants, and then 2 that are 3/4. and I essentially just bought 2 more of the 3/4 because that's the style that I like. The long ones are fine, and the pants I have now are actually probably my favorite training pants. They're the from Gabrielson Crane. They're just all black. I don't know which kind that is, but they're really nice. And if they weren't so expensive, I would just get 10 pairs of these and wear them every training session. But the hook grip ones are just as comfortable, and they're a bit cheaper. And the material, like, I feel like these are gonna eventually, they don't have padding on the quads, so I feel like eventually they're gonna wear out. But the hook grip ones have that padding, just like the Polish ones. The Polish weightlifting ones, they're literally the same thing, but the hook grip makes them. So I think they're probably more durable, and it's just nice to get a couple more pairs, so I just have one for most days of training. That's kind of the issue that I have with them now, is I just have to wash them, you know, especially now in the summer. Like in the winter, you're not sweating as much, so you can kind of get away with, you know, wearing them more than once. But in the summer, like, you get stinky really quick when you're training for a couple hours in the heat. But it's actually cooled down quite a bit, which is nice. I think I've wasted enough time before doing snatch pulls. So the idea was for me to do triples. I think I'm going to continue to try to do triples, and maybe do like actually, I think that might actually be the better thing to do. So I'm going to do 1 snatch pull and then do 2 low hang pulls. And so still the 3 reps, but kind of more of that constant tension, and start them at 110, because I don't feel like taking off the blues to put the whites on. So that's what we're going to do. And also, I didn't realize, but the bugs are not bad. I noticed one bug flying next to me, but they have not been bad out here today, which is fantastic, because a lot of times when I have the shed open, let me flip the thing. When I got the shed open, bugs just fly in. And that grass looks super green with the way this camera looks. I guess the grass is pretty green, but I'm also pretty blind, so it looks better when I'm looking at my camera than when I'm looking with my own eyes, because can't see from far away. I also need to get rid of those pieces of wood from my old platform, but that's a project down the line, because they got a bunch of old nails and screws in them, so I have to chop them down probably and drag them out to the curb. If I get them in small enough pieces, the trash people take them, but I just would feel bad to leave those giant chunks, and they might just not take them, and I don't want to have them sitting out there, so not be ideal at all. But we'll set this camera up and start hitting these pulls. Weights aren't going to pull themselves, unfortunately. Be nice if they did, though. I'm gonna use my Crane straps, which I can never get. They don't feel as good as the Iron Mine ones. I can never get them to work as well. But I tape them together because the idea of having these straps, same with the ones from Weightlifting House. Honestly, I only got these. I knew I wouldn't really wear them, but they just look cool because of the red and the white. They remind me of the old. There was ATG ones back in the day. I never got a pair, but I saw them, just pictures of them, and they were red and white, and I thought aesthetically they looked nice. But the Supreme ones are the closest ones, besides the Iron Mine, that I've gotten that are actually comfortable to use. And I cut them down. See, I had like leather at the end, so I cut that off because the leather was not comfortable on there, and then split the straps and then taped them back together, so kind of made it my own style slightly. Mostly because this part here was like folded the opposite way, so when you wrap them under, they were twisted weird, they weren't comfortable. So I fixed that, and the material I like is good too. It's like the old, if you ever had cargo shorts, the like leather belts that used to come with them, or the fabric belts. It's like that material. But we're gonna do a regular snatch pull And I'm gonna do a regular snatch pull and 2 hangs. Yeah, that felt really heavy. I also haven't, I've been sitting for like 10 minutes. So everything feels heavy when you haven't trained for a little bit. The whole 0 people here watching me struggle on pulls. Honestly, pretty toxic. Pretty toxic. I don't want to get texts about school. Not on a Friday night. I think for the pulls, I'm not going to be doing waves because that sounds like it's too much volume. So we did 110, we're gonna do 120, 130, 140, and still do the triples. But the 110, 20, 30, 40 gives me 4 sets of 3, and I feel like it's a pretty good amount of reps for pulls. And the waves were originally way too many. All right, so 120. Not too bad. So it's 120, then we're gonna do 30. Here, cross that out and that out because I'm lazy. Although 4 sets of 3, I mean, I feel like that's a good amount of pulls. Hey, I'm doing the hang pulls that I wasn't originally planning on doing, so maybe that's my justification for being lazy. Make the exercise harder so you don't have to do as many sets. Big brain plays. So we got 130, just pulls. 1 regular snatch pull and then 2 hang pulls. Feels like the right exercise to do. I haven't done a hang pull in a while. I feel like my nail's getting pressured. I've had that before with like on my pinky, on the edge of it, the cuticle just bleeds. Not for a while, but has happened before. Usually it's if I have some sort of like irritation before lifting will make it worse and might bleed or something. But this will be the last set I do. Then I'm off to eat. Got some chicken and some General Tso's sauce that I need to smash. But I do like how these hang pulls are feeling, really even the regular pull. But I like having them after the regular pull. They're feeling really difficult, but in a good way. Alright. That's good. Good enough for today. Put my glasses on. Because I'm blind. I'm so blind. But I dropped my charger down there. I might do some more SOTS presses. I haven't really decided yet. I'm at least gonna stretch a little bit and then be done. But a lot of productive work. No misses on the snatch or the clean jerk, and then pulls. I got 4 sets of 3 in, which is less than the original plan. But I always plan on doing too much. I just write too much down so much of the time. But do appreciate anyone that did stop by for any amount of time.